So, are you interested in being covered for medical catastrophes if you're living in Thailand? If so, I have something to tell you. Hey, JC here for retirecheap.asia. Welcome to our channel. It's always based on trying to create value for people that are thinking about living or visiting long-term in Thailand. And with that in mind, I wanted to mention a couple things. For you all regular viewers, you probably know I put up a video just recently about major medical insurance. But it was also talking about somebody who got caught out without having it, a YouTuber. And I'm going to go ahead and show you again because I deleted the video that I put previously, and I'll put the whole thing about what insurance company I chose, why I chose it, and why I think it's the best in Thailand to have major medical with. So that'll come up in just in a second, but I just wanted to mention about this video I put up and why I took it down. I've never seen so much controversy in anything, especially anything that I've ever done. Going into making that video, I had mentioned and been upfront that I knew nothing about this guy. The name of the channel was Graham and Pie. And I knew nothing about him or nothing about his channel, but I saw that he needed a triple heart bypass surgery. So I thought I'd reach out and help. Well, yikes. All I can say is there's a lot of controversy surrounding this person and his channel and what he does. And I don't want to talk so much about him and his channel, but I want to talk about the responses, because there's something that can be said about what I witnessed on all that. And I just want to pass this on as maybe some tips for general advice for living. And that is, if you want life to be really easy or easier or more effortless, you need to sort of separate intention from behavior. We're human beings. We all sort of move towards the same things we want and away from the things that make us uncomfortable. And if you can ask yourself what somebody's intention is, then you can sort of usually get beyond the behavior. They've learned a behavior in which to get their needs fulfilled, and their needs being emotional needs always. We try and feel something. That's why we buy stuff and do things. And if you understand what it is that they're trying to feel, then you can understand how the behavior is getting them there. And you might then suggest other ways to get that need fulfilled. And if you want to know a way to not get people to listen to your advice or your suggestion, it's to insult them first. It's a lot better to say, hey, I know you're trying to help, and there might be a different way to look at it, as opposed to, you're a stupid idiot, and this is the way it should be. Not too many people are going to listen to that kind of advice. In fact, the only thing it's going to do is feed your own ego, because you're going to feel good after doing it, thinking that you're better than somebody else that was stupid in your opinion. Remember, all our opinions is a reflection of our own values, beliefs, and rules. So when somebody said, I was supporting this guy's bad behavior, all you did was hold up a mirror in front of yourself and project to yourself and to the rest of us what your own views, values, rules, beliefs, and all that were. You shared them with us. Well, by the way, I'm going to try and make my way through this video because I'm sick as well. And no, I'm not asking for any money. I had a sinus infection that has now moved into a lung infection, and I have a persistent cough, so I'm going to try and work my way through this without coughing too much. But if I sound funny, that's why. So, yeah, when we talk about anything, we're talking about we're coming through a place where we're projecting our own views and values and rules onto the world and coming up with, this is what this means. So when people said, I'm supporting somebody, that was their belief and value, had nothing to do with me. And so all these bad comments and everything pretty much can, unless they're direct insults without anything except just trying to say something mean, then I'd sort of ignore them. If somebody's just directly insulting and say, bad, then either I'll delete the comment or whatever, because it's of no value to anybody except for the person who's trying to boost their own ego. So anyway, back to this whole thing. Let me give you a little example, and then we'll move on to about the insurance, because this was really important, because I saw it so blatantly being exemplified in the comments regarding this whole situation. In Bangkok, I don't know if it's happening so much anymore because they've tried to clean it up, but you used to see beggars on the streets in Bangkok. And most people don't know that those people are placed there. What happens is I don't know if you want to call it a mafia or whatever, but what it is these people recruit these handicapped people, and they give them room and board. So they get fed, they get a place to stay, but then they're placed and they collect money during the day, and then, the van pulls up, places them, they collect money, the van comes back, picks them up, takes them home. If they don't produce well in one area, they're picked up and moved someplace else. It's a business. And most people don't know that. So the example I want to give you is if somebody saw this poor person here without a leg or something and felt sorry for him, and when you walk by they said, hey, this guy seems to have a problem. Maybe it'd be really great if you drop some money in his bowl or something. How would you feel about that? It depends on your own rules, values, and beliefs, and knowledge. Because if you knew this was sort of a scam, and you looked at the guy and go, you're a scammer too because you're helping support this scam. You're assuming that he knows. You're assuming so much based on your own perception. And so that's sort of the same thing. I was really upfront and said I know nothing about this guy or she, and yet I'm a scammer for trying to help somebody out. So anyway, I just wanted to pass that on. If you really want to make an influence and try and influence people's thought process or beliefs or anything, compliment them first, knowing what their intention is, and then say, here's another way to look at it. Just like people calling this guy out, instead of calling people idiots and everything else, just say, hey, here's something you might want to consider in your opinion, and give them a reference to go look at information. Anyway, those are my tips for this whole thing. And hey, sorry it turned out the way it did. The reason I did pull it was, one, because of the controversy, two, is because Graham never did contact me about my offer, and three, it appears that somebody's already picked up the cost of his medical. And all the money, what little money did come in through donations, has all been refunded, and the payment link is now gone and deleted. So anyway, let's get back to I really suggest that everybody is covered for medical insurance after a certain age. You know, insurance companies have actuary tables, and the reason they have actuary tables is because statistically, chances of something bad increases with age, and there's actually statistics to prove that out. So that's why premiums go up as your age goes up, because the chance of something happening increases. And so all that makes sense. So I always self-insured up to the point where you sort of need to start paying attention to getting major medical insurance before you hit 60, because some companies don't want to accept you after 60. My company that I went with will actually accept applications up to 75, but there's criteria to get it accepted. If you do get it before like 60 or 65, they'll insure you for life. But of course, with the actuary tables, the premiums will go up with age. But anyway, Thai medical, these people are basically trained. A lot of them, like my dentist, was trained in New York. And so people, always comment, oh, the medical's so bad. Medical tourism in Thailand is major, one of the biggest in the world, and there's a reason for that. It's not because Thai medicine's so bad, and the doctors are horrible, and the facilities are trash. This is like going to five-star resorts, a lot of these hospitals and medical care facilities. So anyway, I'm going to show you what company I went with and why I did. And like I said, I am self-insured up to almost 60 years old. And right now I have a deductible of $1,000, and I'll cover anything out of pocket up to $1,000, which covers anything but mostly catastrophic illnesses. And then my insurance will kick in. And so I'll talk about all that and compare different policies. Some of the policies I'm going to compare you're familiar with, and you probably think, well, they're the best. If they're the best, then go for them. I'm not trying to influence you in any way. I was just trying to show you why I chose the one I did. And I'll put an email link to my agent, Jamie, who is just phenomenal at answering questions and helping you out with any information you need. And hey, if I offended anybody with me trying to help somebody, I'm sorry. If somehow I've now been guilty by association to something, or who this guy is, and you feel that way, that's up to you. You're entitled to your own opinion. People have been around my channel, and my members, some of which have been members for 4, 5, 6 years, know who I am as a human being. And so those are the people I care about their opinion. Everybody else, it's up to you to think or decide what you want about who I am and what I stand for. But yeah, I've never taken so much heat for trying to do something kind. Very interesting to me, human behavior. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. Check out the video. This is really an important topic. This was information I shared with my members, which I usually don't share on YouTube. That's reserved for the people who really need all the details. But this was really an important thing, and when I saw somebody going through this, I think a lot of people could relate. What would my life be like? What would happen to me? What position am I in? Would I be in financially if that happened to me? And so it's time to pay attention to some of those things, and I hope this is helpful. So again, thanks for watching. If you find value in what I do, like and subscribe, and think about becoming a member and joining our little RC Asia family. But check out the information about major medical insurance. See ya. JC out.
Okay, well, let's get right into this now. I actually have compared a number of different plans, and I'll show you what they are. And I did this about 6 or 8 months ago, and then I had other things to do, and I never followed through with it. But as I'm running up to a 60-year-old birthday, I think it's time to take care of this. I've always self-insured myself. A couple weeks ago in the weekly update, I actually talked about a quadruple bypass surgery and what the cost was. I think it was 750,000 baht or something like that. And one of our members, Scott, did a cornea implant, what it cost. So it's still real inexpensive to self-insure yourself. But as we get older, according to actuary tables, the chances of us getting sick, and it makes sense, rise and increase. And so I think it's a good idea at a certain age to have major medical. For some of you countries, members that come from countries with socialized medicine, you always could, well, not always, but some of you all could bop back or keep your medical up to date so you could use it. With America, we'd have to go back for sure and try and use our Medicare supplement, Part A. So I want to be insured over in Thailand for major medical. Now I'm willing to pay for anything up to about $1,000 out of pocket, which would be pretty major. I was in the hospital when I hit my head on the motorcycle accident and had CT scans and neurologists and everything. Was in the hospital a couple days, and it came up to, now this was a public hospital, but it came up to about 7,000 baht, which is only a few $100s, so it wasn't a deal breaker. But something major could happen health-wise, and so that's why I want to look at this and get it now, because some policies you need to initiate before you hit 60, some 65. So let's go through this and see, and I'll show you what my criteria was and and what I decided on. But one of the things I want you to keep in mind is you should always read the conditions of insurance policies very carefully. This is really important. You want to know things like, can the insurance company cancel the policy or reject the extension after a certain age? What type of reputation does the insurance company have? You should talk to other people that use it if you can. Is the completion of a payment problem 3? And what I mean by that is the hospital. Talk to hospitals and say, have you used this insurance company before? Was everything okay? Are there any problems? This would be real important. Are the upper limits of the policy sufficient for something that you feel might happen? So we all have different needs, different worries, different fears of what could happen. And would this policy cover all those things? That would be important as well. Is the premium increase still affordable as we increase in age? Because the premium price is going to change in different yearly groups. It'll go up. Will it still be affordable for you with your budget? This is really important as well. Is the contract temporary or limited up to a certain age? Are you going to get cut off at a certain age? And what will you do at that point? Is it okay, the age that they cut off? Is it low? Whatever. Is a long unrestricted visit abroad actually insured? Are you planning on traveling around? If so, will you be covered when you're out of the country? So these are all things to pay attention to, keep in mind. I think it's important information. Now for me, I have criteria that might not be the same as yours. My criteria was, can I renew this policy? What age will I be cut off? So renewability was important for me in my decision. Of course, enough coverage to cover what I think would be necessary to have as a policy to cover a major incident. I travel, can I get insured outside? Will I be insured as I travel outside of Thailand? And keep in mind, too, that a 10 million baht policy equates to 340,000 US dollars. Let me say that again. A 10 million baht policy coverage equals 340,000 US dollars. Now, I've never seen anything here that costs that much. Now, keep in mind as we go through these policies that some of them are for one incident. So if, say, you went into the hospital for a back problem, that would be one incident. So you're covered up to a certain amount for that incident. If you went in again a month later for a heart problem, that's not the same incident. So again, your policy would kick in to its maximum. You'd have that maximum coverage for that incident. So some of them are by incident. Some of them are actually by year, how much you can use per year. So let's go through this. Let me show you a few things. This web page is PadiaCityThailand.com. They have insurance, and they talk about this AIA and LMG insurance companies. I have LMG for my Rippermobile and an auto insurance policy through LMG. So I'm familiar with this company. And we'll go through. I took some of these. I tried to compare apples and apples, and I tried to look at the limit that I'm looking for and compare prices and coverages for that limit. And you'll see that in just a minute. I put together a spreadsheet for myself and for you. So anyway, so LMG coverage here. Padia Expat Club, they actually have some group policies because usually groups can get a discount than we could individually. Now, if you say, well, I don't live in Padia and I'm not part of the Expat Club, that's not a problem. You just sign up and it's cheap. The membership dues are cheap, and you'd be able to then get the policy that they offer as soon as you signed up for being an expat. And we'll look at a couple of those. This is through Padia Expat Club, and this AXA insurance. So it says AXA Padia City Expats Group Policy. Until recently, you had to be 65 years and 11 months or under to apply. But the current premium year can be insured under any of the three plans from 66 to 70 now. So You can be from 66 to 70 and get insurance through this AXA company. So that was one company that they were showing that you could insure with through their Panda City expat group. And here's another one. And we'll go over these, so don't worry about me scrolling through. This was AXA. What was the other one? Oh, yeah. This was AXA. This is an actual policy of AXA. And here's Panda Expats Club again. And this one is AA insurance and the different plans. Now this is LMG Pacific. I told you I had LMG insurance for my Rippermobile, for my automobile insurance. The Pacific, we'll talk about why it says Pacific here in just a minute. But this is another company that you can insure through. Remember this one said, I think it was this one, LMG, and so this will be the policy that they pushed with them. And we'll talk about these policies as well. Now, notice that I'm going to have, besides this LMG policy through LMG itself, this is actually a direct policy here, I found this website here called GermanThai.com. And they had this LMG insurance policy, Pacific Insurance. And we'll talk about why I have that in addition to LMG directly in just a second. So there you go. And that LMG Pacific, that Pacific is, the Pacific part of it is this company called Pacific Cross. Pacific Cross. They're sort of the management company that LMG works through to provide that insurance, health insurance policy. This is the Pacific in LMG Pacific. And Pacific Cross now is, you can buy directly from them as well. Okay, so let's go through some of these. I made this spreadsheet. And what we got, I also didn't mention Bupa. People are familiar with Bupa. It's an international company, and it's got insurance policies as well. It's a little harder to figure out what the premiums are than some of these other companies that have just basically a spreadsheet kind of thing. But anyway, we have Bupa, AXA, Panda City Expats Club, AA, Panda City Expats Club, LMG Family Plan, and then we have LMG with that German Thai company, and you'll see why I have that on here as well. LMG Mega Maxi Care, LMG, this is LMG Pacific, Mega is the plan, and Maxi Care is a certain limit. LMG Mega Ultra Care, which has another limit, and you see how this is the policy coverages here for one disability. We have 5 million, 20 million, and then this is Pacific Cross, which was the Pacific and LMG Pacific, and this is 10 million. So I wanted to get this spread out, and you see, you're probably saying, well, why didn't you put 10 between 20? Well, I wanted to keep these grouped together, and I'll show you why in just a second. And then my criteria, what I was looking for to compare these with, was the age you had to be, you would lose your coverage. In other words, at what age are they going to say, you're too old, can't have insurance anymore, and then you're SOL. You got to insure before age. Do they have an age that you have to insure before? Is it worldwide coverage? Maximum limit per year. Do they have a maximum limit at the year that they cap it off and say, okay, you're not covered anymore until next year, you hit your limit? Maximum coverage for one disability. Lifetime limit. Some people say, okay, this policy, once you hit this cap over the lifetime of the policy, that's it, you're done. Then we have hospital, outpatient, and emergency coverages, which includes room and board, ICU, operating theater, surgeon's fees, outpatient benefits, emergency room charges, local ambulance service, and emergency medical evacuation and emergency, worldwide emergency assistance is sort of grouped together where they'll fly you, or maybe your body, I'm not sure, but take care of you emergency-wise, which is probably a good thing. Special notes that I made about these policies. Then we have the premiums down here, and if there's a deductible that's part of these prices as well. So we're going to go through these for just a minute. Now, Bupa, you're covered for one disability, 5 million baht. You're covered, but if you travel to USA, because healthcare in the United States is so expensive, you will not be covered. So for me, that wasn't a good thing, being an American, and I might travel over there. And you have to issue before you're 60 years old, which is another thing, which means I'd have to initiate this policy pretty quick. Room and board daily, 12,000 baht. Now, a good room, private room, is going to cost you somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 baht off the top of my head. ICU daily, 16,000. Operating theater, they'll cover you to the maximum of your policy. In other words, it just gets lumped in. Whatever it costs, they're going to pay until you hit this 5 million baht. They'll continue just to pay it. Full coverage for the surgeon's fee. They're not worried about it. You just they'll pay the bill. Emergency room charges 20,000 baht, 2,000 for local ambulance service, and this was combined $1 million for flying you in emergency situations. They take care of all sorts of things with that. You can look into worldwide emergency assistance. No notes for them, and then the premium costs. Then we have Outpatient. Outpatient, they're going to insure you till you're 75 and then cut you off. You got to insure before you're 70. After 75, it says expat club members. After 75, case by case until you hit at least 80 years old. So they will cover you after 75, but you're not sure what the premium's going to cost. So it'll be case by case. You're covered for 90 days out of the country. Maximum coverage for one disability is only 1,500,000 baht, so it's not a big coverage. Room and board 6,500, ICU 13. Okay, so you go down here, operating theater and surgeon fee 60,000 combined. Outpatient benefit 2,000. In other words, outpatient benefit means if you showed up at the hospital and you need to see the doctor and get some tests run, stuff like that, but you're not checked in. Emergency room, local ambulance gets combined into these costs as well. And that's the deal. And then we'll get into the premium costs down here. Outpatient, you got coverage up to 64 and a half years old. So you got to be pretty young to use this one. You got to insure before 60. Maximum coverage 750,000, so it's even less than the AXA policy. Room and board 6,000, 12,000. So these are not large coverages, but you'll see it reflects in the cost, hopefully. Anyway, that goes down. Expats 59.5. They'll renew if you get 59.5. They'll take you at 59.5, and up to 64.5. And then renewed up to the age of 64.5. So there you go. LMG family policy. Family policy was a yearly policy of 750. You had your choice: 750,000 or 1 million baht. You could have your policy cover you for 1 year, and then of course next year you'd pay again, and you'd have that same policy again. Maximum coverage for one disability, same thing: 750, 1 million. So the maximum for one disability is the same as the limit. And then we have the room and board, 3,000 and 5,000, which you can see is lower than the other policies. ICU, 10,000, still lower than the other policies. Operating theater, these are the coverages. And medical examination is required for anybody over the age of 55. Okay, so let's look at these for just a second. We have maximum coverage for one disability: 5 million, 1,500,000, 750, and 750 and 1 million. Let's just take one age group from 41 to 45. You have 62,000 for the year. This one they don't insure until you get in this age group. Okay, so let's take this age group. Here, 122,000 baht for the year. This one's 60,000. but you drop the coverage almost in half, so the premium's almost in half. 52,000 to be covered for 750,000, and then we got 23,000 baht, and some change for 3 million coverage. I'm sorry, for 750,000 coverage, and 32,000 baht for the 1 million coverage. Okay, so we got those out of the way. Those I didn't really look into. I'm not interested because the amount of coverage is lower than what I'm looking for. So now we have LMG Pacific Mega Series Maxi Care, 5 million baht. This one in this LMG Thai is the same, but this is a brokering this policy. So when I stumbled across them, I said, okay, it's the same exact policy. So yes, you got worldwide coverage. There's no Y here, but it is yes. 5 million, 20 million, all these are the same. Your maximum coverage for one disability is 5 million. Lifetime limit, 20 million. 8,000 per day for a room, and then they cover 100% of all the stuff. This should be 100% as well. And all that's covered. Medical evacuation, 1 million, 100%. This should be the same. 100% worldwide medical, okay? Now, this one, and actually I had in fine print, overseas financial payment direct to providers can be arranged where claims exceed 100,000 baht. So if it exceeds if it's less than 100,000 baht, you'll pay out of pocket and then get reimbursed. If it's more than 100,000, then they'll pay directly. It can be arranged that they'll pay the hospital directly. They actually have a deductible of 40,000, and at 40,000, this is where this changed. At 40,000 deductible, this would give you a 20% reduction or discount in your premium. This one, this company, this broker would give you 25% reduction. So this is when the premiums were substantially different. So this LMG German company, let's go back to this. Here's this LMG, this German company called GermanThai.com. And if you look at the premiums, here's where it says you get 40,000 baht deductible. You get a 25% discount. And the age group here that I wanted to look at was, say, 56 to 60. So 56 to 60. 56 to 60 is 60,000 baht a year, which is 60,530 baht. Now notice I'm actually comparing, if you go up here, the maximum coverage of 5 million. Let's go back to this one. This is the 5 million coverage, okay, 4537, 45,397. Now you're wondering, okay, well, why does it say 6350? Because I've already taken the discount, the 25% discount over this. So I've figured in the discounts already. So I want to show you something. Look at the difference between the prices. 33,000 and 40,000 per year. 37, this is with the 40,000 deductible. I figure 40,000 is, I think, about $1,200 or something. I'm willing to insure myself up to that amount and only use this anything over that, because you can get a lot done for that money. And that way it's not going to affect, I don't know if the policy would ever increase the premium if I used it or something. So I figure I'll self-insure up to that amount of money. So anyway, this, you can see the difference in these prices, which I thought was substantial. I was thinking, well, this would be great. I can get this policy for a discount, 5 million. I'll go with the 5 million and get it from them. Well, I contacted them and they said, no, we don't carry it anymore. And I'll tell you what they do carry in just a second. But notice this LMG Pacific also has 20 million. So if you felt 20 million was a substantially more important figure for you to have coverage for one disability, which is a lot. 20 million would be about over $500,000 coverage. And here's the premiums with your deductible down here. So you jump from 5 million coverage to 20 million, from 57,200 a year to 89,000. But I don't really, that didn't apply to me or didn't appeal to me because I didn't really want 20,000. Now I'm saying that this German company doesn't have this anymore because now they use Pacific Cross, which was the management company of this LMG Pacific. So I went over to Pacific Cross and looked, and they had the guarantee renewal, which I'm interested in. I think that's important. 90-day worldwide, 3 months. I don't really go anywhere for more than 3 months these days. So that's good. But notice of this worldwide coverage, it says down here, 30% co-payment for all expenses incurred in the USA will apply to the USA citizen and frequent visitors. So we have a co-pay here of 30%. But still covered if I go to Vietnam or any of these other places, get in a motorbike accident, I'll be covered. Maximum coverage for one disability. This is what I was telling you when we first started this, 10 million. 10 million is 340,000 US dollars. I think that will work for me. This was a little low. This was a little high. This one was just right. So I like that 10 million. If the premium cost isn't going to be too high, I'll go with the 10. Here we got room and board, 10,000 baht a day. All this is covered 100%. So we're good to go up until 10 million. They'll just keep paying these bills. As long as they're not extravagant, like they're trying to be gouged, then there might be an issue, but they'll cover it 100%. Here's that 40,000 deductible again, which would give me a 25% discount. So now let's compare this. Down here at, say, 55 to 60. 57, this is with the discount, 57. Well, look at this. This was 57. So for 10 million with LMG Pacific, I can double, with 5 million coverage, I can double that to 10 million and get the same premium. So for me, it's like, that's sort of a no-brainer. Look at this, 61 to 65, it actually is lower. Now, you're covered, renewed for life, but after 66, they're going to request a quotation. In other words, they're not going to give you, it's going to be based upon your health probably or something, but they will cover you. The premium might go up or whatever, but we can get covered all the way to 80 years old and above. So there you go. So guess which one I'm going with? That's right, Pacific Cross. This to me is the one I think fits me and my needs pretty well. So there you go. I hope this has been helpful and educational, and have some closing thoughts. And but glad I could help out. Well, there you go. You see what my criteria was, and you see what my choice was and why I made that choice. Now, again, it's sort of hard to compare all these different things. I tried to put them in a spreadsheet there so it'd be easier to look at and compare. I hope this has been really helpful for you, and that you got some insight, if nothing else, as to what to expect when it comes to major medical. I wonder if it covers hard of hearing from the loud exhaust. I have to check into that. Anyway, remember, when it comes to insuring yourself, there's always an option. See you, JC out. Hey, JC here. If you like that video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here. Also, we have another video up here you're going to be really interested in watching as well. And if you're looking for all the details of how to retire in Thailand in one place, plus a group of people to support you, check this out over here. Give it a click.